Bethesda. The big news everyone's talking about. Are we excited? Are we coming here, boys? Are you ready? Rage 2.
Are you excited, Jack?
Rage 2, yeah, I am. I really enjoyed Rage
We're not
1.
starting there. I'm leading this. I'm so excited. I think Bethesda, from the gate, we're going to fucking smash. Do you remember their first E3 a few years ago, where they literally came out and they fucked everybody's mouth in the audience and then just walked off stage, and we were all just swallowing all of the joy that they gave us? I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen again this year. I think they're going to fucking nail it.
Like, oh, Fallout 4, by the way, guys, end of the year. See you there.
Oh, I'm so excited. Right, we've got a lot to get through, and I think this is going to be quite a lot. I'm going to start small, work my way up to excitement levels. So I'm just going to kick it off.
Rage 2.
No. Doom 2.
Doom 2? I haven't heard that.
Doom 2. It's rumoured. It's either going to be... We know it's probably on the way. I didn't play the first one. I know you did.
I played it, I haven't finished it.
Yeah, see, I played the first level, and I didn't think that much of it. But I think that's just because I don't play shooters like that. And I think that was my issue. The problem was with me, not Bethesda. I'm sorry. Oh, I just thought of another friend. All right, I'll add that in. Hold on. I just add that in. Right. Yeah, so Doom 2. Yeah, it's rumoured that we might get a little something teased. It might be officially announced, but it'll be one of those games where it's like, it's coming 2019, 2020 maybe. I think they might just drop it to be like, we are doing something with it. Is that something you're into? Something you're not into?
Yeah, I could have a Doom 2.
Yeah, I'll go for a Doom 2. I know a lot of people loved it. Again, it's not really for me. I think it's just the way I play games, but fuck it, don't care. Bethesda are great. Next,
it's id doing what it does best.
Exactly. Speaking of id, Rage 2. What do we think?
But I'm quite excited. I really enjoyed the first one. Like, it had its problems. Obviously, the ending was one of the worst endings of all time. It was very... There was a lot of... I know one of our favourite keywords, missed opportunities, sort of, almost.
You've been following the Ben Solo's series. Missed opportunities is a key feature.
Had a few missed opportunities. It had that level where it was just in reverse, but then they joked about it in the achievement by actually just putting the words in reverse. But it was a good. I enjoyed them. The shooting and the gameplay of it was very smooth, very good to play. The animations were pretty good. I just wish there was more world building and more characters and more sort of narrative work gone into it.
Yeah,
it was very impressive and great on a technical standpoint. Like, it's one of the best looking games, I think, of that generation. It was a lot of fun to play, but it just needed more narrative, more content, more life to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So Rage 1 for me, I really enjoyed it. Annoyingly, it might just be because I'm stubborn as fuck. It dropped the ball so much with that. And I know I'm not going to beat on it too much because everybody does, but every time I think of the game, I think of the ending first, and I'm like, oh yeah, that missed opportunity. But then when I actually think about the game, I'm like, no, it was great. When the trailers dropped and then it was announced that Rage 2 was coming, I was so about it, again, because that ending just sat so awkwardly with me that I didn't really want to see another one. But the more I think about it, the more I'm excited that they've given it another shot. I think it will be quite good. I quite like it's gone open world, which you'd think, where I'm more narrative based, that would be quite a bad thing. But I think for this type of game, it works well. I think that's what they do.
Well, the first one was semi-open world, wasn't it?
It wasn't. It was more like hub world based. You went in between different hub worlds.
Yeah.
It was that weird sort of in the middle bit, and I think there wasn't enough exploration. I think this is going to be one of those games where there's an average to good narrative, I hope, but the open world is going to make the game. It's going to get better when you stop playing the game and you go and explore, and there's all of these weird little side characters and side stories that you just stumble upon. Very much in the essence of Fallout, which we'll get to later.
Borderlands.
But that's what I mean. Borderlands is a great world for that. It was a case of when you go off the beaten path and you do all of these side quests, that was where the best stuff was, and I really hope that's what they do with Rage. But other than that, I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to see more.
I'm really glad they're giving it another chance.
Yeah, I am.
It really deserved a second chance. I mean, yeah, they like I said, they dropped the ball a bit. But if they put in, right amount of effort, to put in a good thought to it this time, There's no reason why it can't be a really good game.
Yeah.
And there's another game by id. I mean, id have done incredible in the last few years, haven't they? They did Wolfenstein, didn't they? No, that was Machine Games. But they did the first Rage. They did Doom. Now they're doing Rage 2. Like, it can't go wrong.
No, I'm looking forward to it. Next up, this is the one which I thought of midway. I don't think we're going to see anything new with this franchise, but I just put out the feelers. Would you want a Dishonored 3?
I'm not the Dishonored fan here, though. You are.
You're not, but that's why I'm asking you, because obviously I'm going to be like, yes.
I mean, it'll make you happy, so yes.
Oh.
But like, I played the first one, never completed it. I was just a bit like, oh, okay, cool. Never bothered with the second one. That's about it, really.
Oh, I thought you had played this. Oh, okay. Oh, I'll take that off the list. Well, we're recording now. I kind of want to see 3, but in terms of I don't want 3, if that makes sense. If
I was a massive fan like you are, I would say that I'd want it, but I'd want it maybe another 2 years from now.
Oh no, yeah. Like I don't want it anytime soon. But I think where they should go with this franchise in general, they did Dishonored, fantastic, 10 out of 10 game. They did Dishonored 2, fantastic, probably 9 out of 10 game. Fucking loved it. Then they brought out, what is it, Death of the Outsider, which was a standalone spin-off game. And I think that is where the franchise needs to go now. I don't want Dishonored 3 to follow the same storyline as Corvo. I think we've spoken about it earlier this week that it's important for things to come to an end. I think the Corvo and Emily storyline is done. Depending on how you ended 3, I have no fucking idea how... Depending on how you ended 2, sorry, have no fucking idea how you would even continue that. But I think these spin-off games would do really well. All of the DLC that they released for Dishonored 1, where you played as the assassin who killed the Empress, that was so fucking good. I loved it. And I just think that's what they need to keep on doing, is maybe explore the factions, maybe explore the Outside. I've not played Death of the Outside. I'm waiting for a summer sale. But I hear good things. And I just think you need to explore those different factions. And because that world is... I love Dishonored's world. I love it. I think that's one of the best things Bethesda have ever published in terms of lore and world in general. I think that is one of their strongest IPs. So I'd be very happy to get a slight tease, or just to get a, yes, we're working on something with Dishonored. Elder Scrolls. Do you think we're going to see anything?
Yeah, they would have teased it. Well, saying Bethesda and Todd Howard like to be the one of the surprises. They're teasing Fallout 76, obviously. So everyone's going to be like, oh, Fallout. What if, right, Todd Howard comes on stage and he's like, I know you guys, we all know you want to see that, one big game, makes a joke about that. And we're like, yeah, okay. We're going to say that for a bit later, but right now I want to show you something else. And then it goes, Elder Scrolls 6 comes up on screen and what have you. That's something I could see happening. That's something I don't think is going to happen there.
That it's hard
because they want to create a lot of press for something like that, so that more people tune into E3.
Yeah.
And see it there rather than surprise at E3.
See, now this is where the next 3. So there's Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Starfield.
The fuck is Starfield?
Right. If you follow Bethesda, this is clearly where it's not until I start talking about Bethesda I realise how much of a fucking fanboy I am for them. Starfield is their next big thing. Yeah, they released Elder Scrolls Online so they could step away from Elder Scrolls as a whole, because they wanted to work on a new IP. Because at the time, it was Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Those were their 2 biggest franchises that Bethesda Game Studio worked on. But they wanted to work on something else called Starfield, which no one knows anything about. A lot of people were saying it's a Skyrim Fallout RPG style set in space, which...
Okay, I'm excited.
Exactly, right. Imagine No Man's Sky, but
good.
Good, and with the structure of a Fallout or an Elder Scrolls game.
Yes, want now, please. Thank you. Goodbye.
This is what I'm worried about. Or I'm not worried about it. This is where I fall into just babbling idiot. When they were teasing Fallout 76 a few days ago, I even put out a tweet saying, what if Starfield has been code? Like, it's a new Fallout game set in space. I don't think that's the case anymore. What if Starfield is a new Elder Scrolls game? And that's what they've just given it a code name So when they say, yeah, we're not working on an Elder Scrolls game, we're working on something else. No one's really building that much hype for an Elder Scrolls game. I genuinely think they could do exactly what you just said. There's a reason they've teased Fallout now. I think they're going to come out with a massive like 1-2 punch. Everybody's going to think Fallout is going to be their biggest thing that they're going to announce, but it's not a standard Fallout game. It's a spin-off. It's an experimental thing. People are excited. We want to see more about it. And I think they're going to go into E3 with that small little tease, get everybody focused on that, and then they're going to be like, oh, by the way, here's Elder Scrolls, or here's Starfield, by the way. Or they're going to say, here's Elder Scrolls, now we're moving to the big game. Oh, there's one more thing. Here is Starfield. Announce that, and then move on to Fallout. And I think Fallout is going to be the weakest out of the 3, or out of the 2 that are announced. But that's why they've teased it so early, because it's not going to be the main hit of the show. And I think that is when they're going to do another mic drop moment and just fuck off.
They could win E3 right here with this. If they come in, right, they do Rage 2, show off that, great, whatever. Maybe Dishonored 3 teaser, whatever, great.
Yeah.
Maybe probably end up doing some like Wolfenstein 2 DLC or some crap.
Yeah.
And then they come in and they go, alright, so here's Fallout 76, everyone. Great. Show it off. Cool. Maybe like I think they might do a demo. I think they'll do a demo of it. Because the trailer showed pretty sort of gameplay-esque, didn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a pre-rendered thing with a bunch of video they pre-made. It was looked very in-game engine.
Yeah.
Then they do Elder Scrolls and like, yes, everybody, Elder Scrolls is happening. Fucking everyone goes wild and they go, oh, before we go, here's this thing. It's called Starfield. You might like it. Kick off. That's E3 done. Goodbye, everyone. My name's Todd Howard, also known as God Howard. Don't forget, though, I do like to lie quite a lot.
So I think, because there's another Fallout bit of news which we've ignored, and again, I think this is what they're going to do. I think where Fallout 76 is an experiment, a lot of people are cautiously optimistic. They're like, it could work. The more details we find out about it, like it's fully online, they're going to explain all of that. I think they're going to win a lot of people over. They're going to be like, yeah, okay, actually, I'm in for this. I do think you've got a plan. It will work. I'm in. And then that will build the hype. I think he will also then... It's so easy to do because we know Bethesda have acquired quite a few studios over the last few years. And we know they keep their teams really secret. And they could easily have been working on a Fallout game, an Elder Scrolls, and then have this secret Starfield thing working off in the background, doing all 3 at once and not be too stretched. But if they come out and they're like Fallout 76, oh, and also if you're not excited because it's online and you just want a traditional, by the way, Fallout 3 Remastered is here because that is heavily rumored to show up. Everybody is expecting it to show up. So I think most people will be disappointed if they don't see something. I think 76 will be released this year. I think they're going to do what they did with Fallout 4. They're going to tease it, announce it, and then they'll be like, oh, by the way, it's only 3 months away. I can see them doing the exact same thing for Fallout 76, where they'd say, oh, it's out in November, but before then, Fallout Remastered, that's coming out in 2 months. Everybody loses their mind. Then they would go on to an Elder Scrolls, they would tease it, or they would do the same for Starfield. I think they're going to come out all guns blazing. I don't think there's a single thing which they could announce which I wouldn't be excited for. Like you say, like if they come out and they're like Doom 2 teaser, a Dishonored teaser, we're like, oh good, it's fun that you're continuing those franchises. I'm glad we're seeing more. But then to really bring out the big guns, maybe tease an Elder Scrolls, just to confirm that they're working on it, I think would be enough to get everybody wet as fuck. Then to drop Fallout, some Starfield news, and then a Fallout remaster. I genuinely think, and they're second up, I think, in the schedule. I think they're the second press conference, and I do think them going early, they're just going to repeat what they did 2 years ago. Because I remember most people were disappointed last year because they didn't have a mic drop moment, but that was because they started so strong the first year round. But I do genuinely think they've got the lineup, they've got the manpower to just walk in, announce absolutely everything, and then walk off stage, and then let us know that it's all just. I think with Elder Scrolls and stuff, 2019, maybe 2020. Starfield will be 2019, I think. But I think both Fallout titles will be dropping this year. So they'll be like, so this year Fallout, next year Starfield, then Elder Scrolls, or swap those last 2 around or whatever. But
I think that would make sense, yeah.
I think they're absolutely going to just walk on stage and just fuck everybody's faces
If
again.
they did that, they did all the stuff we've just said, and then like maybe like one new IP, then that's it. You know what, Bethesda, you guys win.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I think that's why they're going early again.
But that's if they do it.
I really think they will. I really think they will. They had the fucking audacity to stream a spin-off experimental Fallout title for a day before, like, they had over 2 million unique people tune in to that Twitch stream and just watch nothing. Like, I really, and again, I think that's what's building, for me anyway, this narrative that they're just going to walk on stage and be like, oh yeah, you think Fallout is the big thing that we're bringing this year? It is a big thing we're bringing this year. We've also got Fallout Remastered, but also, by the way, here, look at this. And I think that's what is going to win it. And I think because Todd Howard has got the charisma, he even, I'm not sure if you saw the Twitch stream, you know, you had those fucking people just walking around, like throwing a balloon in the air or something.
You said that, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, like it must be like fucking once an hour or something. Somebody would just walk past the camera. And that would be it. They wouldn't even acknowledge it, or like they'd have like these Fallout hand puppets and stuff, and it got really fucking annoying, especially if you were trying to record a reaction video for the announcement, and sat there for fucking 2.5, 3 hours like I did. But then Todd Howard walked on after, I think it was like 8 hours or something they streamed for. I can't remember how long it was for, but Todd Howard walked on, sort of looked at his watch, and was just like, I think we've made them wait long enough. Yeah, Fallout 76 is coming. Here's the trailer. And then just fucked off. And I was like, you're going to do it at E3. I know that's what you're going to do. You've got the fucking balls to keep that many people like watching you guys. And watching, it was literally nothing. That was what was more, and it did generally piss me off when I was watching the stream. But I think that's the style they've gone for. It went down so well 2 years ago that I think that that's what they're going to do. And I am really fucking excited for it. And I don't even want a new Elder Scrolls game. I know most people were really pissed off because like, oh, we want new Elder Scrolls, not fucking Fallout. I'm not ready for another Elder Scrolls. If one came out, absolutely, fucking, I'm on it. I'd be hyped as dicks, but it's not on my to-do list. But if they announce it, I'll be fucking stoked.
I've only played Skyrim. I don't even really understand the Elder Scrolls story. Like, I just had a lot of fun playing Skyrim. If another game comes out, I'd be like, great. I don't even care about another Elder Scrolls game. I'd love a Skyrim 2. I've said this before. Skyrim 2. Why not? Skyrim was fantastic. I know that's stupid because they're doing like each region, isn't it? They're doing.
Do not do Skyrim 2. I don't want Skyrim 2. Just give me another Elder Scrolls. Give me Elder Scrolls 6.
They're doing like each region, aren't they? It's like.
Yeah, I think they're done. I
can't remember what they're called. No, I swear there's a few more.
There's I swear they're all.
Hang on, what is it? It's called like Tamriel, isn't it? I know that.
Yeah.
Tamriel.
Cyrodiil was Oblivion. Morrowind was 3. Skyrim, obviously, was Skyrim. I can't remember what they're fucking called. There is another one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
There's 9 areas on the map of Tamriel.
Yeah. Obviously,
they've done Morrowind. I think they've done Hammerfell, haven't they? That was not quite an old one.
Mm.
I think I saw a Reddit post that says Valen Wood and Elsveer, like the last 2 or something, maybe.
Right, but I'm just gonna give a heads up to whoever's listening, if anybody is. That's what I want from Bethesda, from E3. That's what I think they're gonna do. I do think they're just gonna come in balls to the wall. I'm expecting what's gonna happen now is me and Jack are gonna talk about Fallout for quite a while. So if you're interested, stick around. If not, go away. Right, Fallout 76. What do you think it's going to be in terms of... We've said it's an online game. What are you hoping to see specifically from this game, if anything?
There's different things. There's things I hope it's going to be and there's things I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be, like we said, online. But because we've had that whole thing with that... What was it, that app game called? What the fuck was it called? Vault Dweller?
Fallout
Shelter. And then the whole base building thing we had in Fallout 4 and the settlement thing, and obviously the story won't go to the story 76. Everyone knows. If you don't know what the story 76 is, Vault 76 is, just go Google it. We've all been over that now. Every YouTube comment is basically that now.
500 people in a vault. It's the first one to open in 20 years. Done.
Cool. So they come out the vault, and then I'm guessing that you're gonna have to go and almost establish like the second civilization that exists in Fallout now, Because if you think about it, the world of Fallout is set post-nuclear war, so it's almost like your second civilization where you're all running on bottle caps. You've got the California Republic, you've got Caesar's Legion, the Brotherhood of Steel, some other the what they call the Institution. So I think maybe we're going to see that like coming out. People are going to split off into their factions. It's going to be a bit of a managerial game. What was I said the other day? I said, what if you play as the Overseer?
Yeah.
So you're the Overseer, and you come out, and you're in charge of these people, and they're all looking to you and like, well, the world's gone. Like, what are we gonna do? We can't live in the vault because you said something about an engineer, doesn't it, or something? Or they do the vault's no longer livable, so they have to leave, even though it's supposed to open after 20 years. So probably some sort of vault-tech conspiracy that makes it not livable after 20 years. They have to leave, and then like, okay, well, we're gonna have to sort of establish life out here. So you're the Overseer. You're in charge, and you've got to basically Rick Grimes and lead these people to their new salvation, as it were. But in a Fallout style gameplay, so it's like a bit like Fallout 4 when you meet the the fucking whatever they're called, the Minutemen. Yeah, you meet the first of them, and then they go and then you stay at like your own house area, and then they want you to keep going back there to help them and build their civilization. And you don't really give a shit throughout most of the game because who would? I don't really give a fuck about those guys. But it's going to be because you're going to go explore, you're going to find resources to come back and help them. I think it's going to be less of a traditional Fallout. Like, we know straight off bat it's not going to be a traditional Fallout game. But what I'm hoping is that, like you said about online, it's not going to be like a constant online world like Sea of Thieves or something. But it's going to be more of a co-op world. So you can play with your friends.
Shared world.
So, yeah, shared world. So we can, almost like Division, we can hop in together with our guns, with our individual characters, and we can go and fight super mutants, fight all this other shit, and build our resources and build our home in this new world. Kind of like how Mass Effect Andromeda should have been. Right,
I'm gonna just cut that right there. I've got a few ideas for how they can do this, and every single one gets me sort of excited. So we know it's online, we know it's co-op. Right, there's because I'm such a fucking loser. I've watched so many analysis videos of that trailer, and there's so many hints in that trailer that it's definitely online. And I know we keep on saying that, and it's basically confirmed at this point. Everyone knows that. I'm not saying that to I'm not speculating that anymore. I'm just assuming that it is.
You're assuming my online.
Yes. There's a board game in the trailer, and it says 5-player. That would be a nice little hint to be like, okay, right, we've got it's.
That's 5. A good number.
It's a 5-player card. Yeah, that to me brought me back on board for the online. I was like, that's perfect. That's perfect.
That's
co-op.
Not too much.
How many times, Jack, have we said off the air 5v5 games are the absolute peak of multiplayer? They work the best. All right, so they've got me there. So 5 players in co-op. Genius. Love it. I want the story, because I do want a story, but I want it to be shared. The way I want the story to be structured is how the first Borderlands was, and Borderlands 2. There's an overall narrative which you're just working towards. There's no rush for it, because obviously if it's building up civilization, it's fine. Like you take your time. You do what you want to do. They have said it's got quests and it's got different side missions in, etc. So I want that. So if I'm going with that structure, because I'm gonna barely be able to keep this focused as a coherent sentence when talking about this, and all the ideas I have for it. So we start in the vault, and we sort of live a small life, how we do in Fallout 3. We sort of skip through, like, take several jumps up until Reclamation Day. The vault door opens. You think it's going to be, oh yeah, it's all like dandy, like we start to rebuild. But because the radiation is going to be so fucking dense, because it's only been 20 years, even though I know it's 25 years that this character is leaving due to the dates in the trailer, I said to Jack the other day, I don't want it to be a wasteland outside. I want it to be a battleground. Like, I want the Earth to be completely fucked. The wasteland in Fallout 3 is the best one that they've done, because it was so grim and depressing, because everything was just dead. But it had sort of died and decayed and was just more sort of dust. You could see like the odd remains of where something was, but nothing's really standing. I want this to be sort of like a no man's land. where it's all freshly blown up, I guess, because it's only been 25 years. The amount of radiation everywhere is going to be super interesting. I think the radiation storms that they introduced in Fallout 4 will be a huge part of it, because obviously the radiation is going to be much thicker. I think they're going to be much more common. I think that's going to be a hazard which we're going to have to deal with. So
the
I would
survival aspect.
Yeah. Now this is where, right? Imagine, Jack, and I'm not specifically sure how the game would work, but if you are playing as an overseer, imagine the gameplay is structured like XCOM. It doesn't play like XCOM, where it's like an RTS, but so you can lose the game. So
XCOM is turn-based.
yeah, that's what I meant. But I mean, in terms of, so you can actually lose. Like you start with 500 people under you,
Yeah.
and you're like, right, you go over here, you go over here. Here are the risks. Here's what you might have
It's
to
like
do.
your life points.
Yeah, and like they dwindle down, and if you fall to like, there's only like 3 people left. You've got to do it with 3 people, and once they're all dead, they're dead. Like game over. You can start again or reset. Sort of like how Civilization is, but meets XCOM, like the Civilization, but with a story mode, and you're not fighting other civilizations. You're fighting whatever is in the environment that is just naturally trying to kill you. I think that's quite a good idea. Another one is just make Borderlands, but in Fallout. You venture off with your friends into the wasteland. You do side quests here and there, or is returning back to the base to sort of help feed the other dwellers that are there, etc., and help build that up as the overall goal. That will be like the center point of your civilization, and you build outwards. I think that's quite a good idea. Another one is, even if it's just a survival game, like you joked the other day, like what if it's the Four Horsemen, like online early access.
See my tweets.
Yes. Nice plug. If it's sort of Rust, we know it's come from the art designer said on Instagram, it's Rust and Ark inspired. So those sort of early access survival games. A big issue with those games, again, I'm going to steal GameRanks content. They mentioned it on their podcast. Go just go listen to them. They're great.
Yeah, don't listen to us. We're shit. Go listen to the Game Ranks.
They're great. They brought it up in that a big issue that games like Rust and Ark have, these early access games, is that they're so fucking janky. Like that's a massive issue to get over. Like the game doesn't really work. Like when it does, it's good, but it looks terrible. The mechanics aren't great. It's like early access jank. So why doesn't a AAA company come in and just make that game in a universe that's already well established, and so it works
with their resources?
I'd be so fucking happy for that. And I'm 100% on board for that. Even if it is just a go build like a Rust clone, but in Fallout, I'd be down for that. I'd be happy.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think that could work. I mean, it is proof that they're popular because they keep being made. Lots of people play them ever since DayZ started. Minecraft, Miscreated, Rust, all those sort of ones. You know, the Forest. You would put them into that one sort of genre, as it were. They're popular. It's just no big studio has tried doing them. Yeah.
Another thing, because they said it is they mentioned DayZ. They're like, it's DayZ inspired as well, which again, it seems
That means it's not be finished for another 8 years.
Yeah. It just feels like a AAA version of one of these early access games. But I was like, imagine a Fallout game where it's one life. So, right, you've got 500 people, so that's how they can keep on being like, oh yeah, and then you respawn, I guess. But say if you go into like a character creator or whatever, you make your character, you send them out into the wasteland, you go venture, you collect stuff, you bring it back, you build up the base, you go back out, you get experience, you level up, and then you die. He's dead. So let's just say he loses radio contact. You go back to the vault, and then the overseer's like, right, well, it's fair to say he's dead. We know this was his last known location. We need someone to go out and continue what he was doing. You can either go back to where he was, pick up all of your old shit again, and carry on from where you were, or you start again with a new character. I just think this is a really good... Like, how many times have you reloaded a Fallout save or a Skyrim save, or you've made a save where you're like, I'm going to play as an archer this time. I'm going to play as a melee character. I'm going to play as... Like, I'm going to do an Institute run. I'm going to do a Brotherhood of Steel run. You create these characters for specific runs. So having an online shared world game where if you do only get one life, it just feels like a really quick way to do that. So you just constantly... And then when a character dies, it's like, fuck. Like, I didn't want to do that. That really adds in the risk factor to, do I really want to go explore this bit of the wasteland on my own, Or do I want to jump in with a party of people, either random or friends? Because then it's much safer to do, because I don't want this character to die. I've got him to a certain state. Like Darkest Dungeon meets Fallout in a 3D wasteland. I think that would... Oh, I want that. All of the ideas I just said, I'd be happy with any of them. I fucking love Fallout. I just want more in that universe. And I think it's really clever. I think it's generally quite smart that they have sort of alluded, and they have let Jason Schreier and all of these other journalists say, yeah, it is online. Don't expect a traditional single player. Because as soon as I was over that, and then you sort of think, okay, what can they do with it? And your brain, if you're like me, you love the franchise, you just start to fucking go off on one. Like, having it so early after the war. I mean, like, Fallout 4 is set 200 years after Fallout 76. That's ridiculous. So everything is completely different. The wasteland will look completely different. It won't be a wasteland yet. It would, again, like I said beforehand, it will be like a battleground. I think the enemies are going to be only just starting to mutate. Ghouls are going to look so fresh and gory. And like oh God, like just the idea of those enemies that we know of just completely changing. We're going to see stuff that we've not seen before. They have confirmed as well that the year that you're set in is the year that the Master falls into the vat of FEV, which from Fallout 1, the Master is the first super mutant, and then he spreads the virus and creates the super mutants throughout the wasteland for them to overtake the humans. So we know that super mutants aren't going to be in the game as we know them, because the Master has only just gone in. And even if that is the narrative, as you're going out and you're exploring, you run into a guy and you hear, oh yeah, something happened. The guy like mutated like beyond a ghoul, like he's something completely different. He's building an army or something. There's just so many narrative beats and different bits of like the Fallout lore that you can go into, which you can't do in any other Fallout game because it's way too late. Everything's already established, which isn't a bad thing. But I think going back and having this origin story of what actually happened when humans did come out of the vaults, who were the first people out, what happened the first time Vault Dwellers met a ghoul, like who are the leading raider factions? How did the NCR come to be? Are we going to see the beginning of that? The Brotherhood of Steel, in its early days, they've only just been established, and then the super mutants are only just starting to come out of the ground. There's just so much stuff. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I fucking love Fallout. Any of that sound good to you?
Oh, sounds good. I mean, I was a bit nervous when I first heard it was going to be online, but now I'm just like, you know what, fuck it.
I'm completely in. I'm completely in on it. Even because you said when you watched the trailer, you said to me, it seems like it's set entirely in the vault. Even that, I'd be down for. I'd be 100% in for that. I don't think it's going to be, because obviously the point of 76 is it's the first one to open. But it's just such a good idea. It is such a good idea. I'm so in. It's been a roller coaster over a couple of days, but I'm so fucking excited. Fallout is my Mass Effect to Jack, I think. So this might break my heart entirely, and I'll go on a massive rant how you did during our EA discussion.
After I completed Mass Effect Andromeda, I think is the pinpoint where I became a bad person.
You lagged out completely there. I didn't hear a word you just said.
Well, you'll find out, won't you, in the edit?
Oh, mysteries! I'm going to assume you said after Mass Effect Andromeda is when you stopped playing games. Because you don't seem to play many games ever since then. I think it's completely broken you.
Speaking of games, do you want to add any other little bits we have into this one?
You've just lagged out again entirely. What's going on?
I said, speaking of games, do you want to add any other smaller games into this video?
I think we're good. We've got one more recording to do, which I think will be sort of the little games stuff. But I just wanted this to be entirely Bethesda focused.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, that's ultimately what we're going to see. If you've got any Fallout theories, or if you just want to shout that I'm a giant fucking nerd, obviously go ahead and do so. I think next up on our recording session, it's just what we would want to see from E3. Even if we're not expecting it and we don't think it's going to happen, what we would want to see from E3 2018. So be sure to give that a click if it makes it through post-production and actually gets uploaded, because a lot of our content doesn't. But if we do, we'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.